Good evening. Hi. Welcome to all the audience who will be joining us shortly, to all the viewers. Uh, Striving for social justice is the most valuable thing to do in life, is a thought that is given by a scientist, not by a social activist, and the scientist that we know fondly as Einstein. Albert Einstein believed that if you really wish to do something for society, just work towards the social justice. And on the same note, I welcome you all to this Talk to the Expert series, which is organized by the Spectrum Autism Support Group. This group is committed to create awareness around autism. And in this series, today we have Advocate Varsha Mahajan with us, who will be sharing her information, knowledge, and expertise around her work that she does. And to tell you a brief about Varsha before she takes over the session and she briefs us about the right to justice towards autism. Varsha did her LLB and then she's also done her master's in human rights and she's an MS in counseling psychology. As a founder director of Bright Healing Counseling Center, where she is counseling parents, where she's also doing marital counseling, she's counseling teenagers, and currently she's here with us to share her knowledge that she has of the Constitution of India and what rights it gives to us as parents of kids who have autism or who are under the spectrum. And on this note, I welcome Advocate Varsha. Hi, Varsha. Good evening.
Hello. Good evening, Dr. Shivali, and good evening, all the viewers. And thanks for that wonderful introduction. And I would just like to appreciate Dr. Shivali for taking this initiative for this awareness and social cause of autism. Okay.
Right. So I would request you to take us through the entire concept around autism and how does that affect the right to justice for the family and to the kids?
Yeah, sure. So we'll start with, shall I?
Yes, please go ahead.
So autism and right to social justice. This is our today's subject. And let's see. Autism spectrum is a condition related to brain development that impacts how a person perceives and socializes with others, causing problems in social interaction and communication. Now, autism spectrum impacts the nervous system and affects the overall cognitive, emotional, social, and physical health of the affected individual. The range and severity of symptoms can vary widely. Common symptoms include difficulty with communication, difficulty with social interactions, obsessive interests, and repetitive behaviors. Early recognition as well as behavioral, educational, and family therapies may reduce symptoms and support development and learning. Moving further, let's see what autism and law in our Indian Constitution is there. The Constitution of India has given the fundamental rights to the people with autism. It secures them a right of justice and they can enjoy equality of status in the community. Article 14 of Indian Constitution says, they like every citizens of India are equal before the law. Article 15.1 says, the government cannot discriminate any Indian, including the person with autism, on the ground of religion, caste, or sex. Article 15.2 of Indian Constitution says, every citizen, including the people with disability, cannot be discriminated on any grounds for the access of any public places. Article 17 says that autistic people cannot be treated as untouchable, which is a punishable offense.
Varsha, I would like you to stay here on this slide for a while because I want more people to go through this now and later. If you have any questions, I would request the viewers to please leave questions there for us, and we will get back to those questions now or later. So what I understand as a lay person here, as somebody who doesn't really follow law so well, is that if the Constitution of India allows or rather gives me the right to access any location, public place, that means shopping complexes, cinema halls, playgrounds, which means any other place which is there and which is accessible to anybody in India who's an Indian citizen. All autistic kids and young adults are allowed, they have the right to access and should not be stopped by anybody under whatever circumstances to access those premises. Is this correct?
Yeah, exactly. You're on the point. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Yes,
Okay.
let's go ahead now. Yeah.
Shall we move ahead?
Yes, please.
Okay. So Article 21 of Indian Constitution says, every person has a right to life and liberty. It also includes the right to education for the children with autism in the age group of 6 to 14 years. Okay. Article 23 says, prohibition of forced labor. Nobody can force an autistic child or a person for a forced labor. Okay. Article 24 of Indian Constitution says, prohibition of employment of children under the age of 14 years. That comes under child labor. Okay. Article 32, this is a very important article, and a protection has been given, like a person with autism or any disability can seek constitutional remedy and can move to the Supreme Court by filing writ petition. If an autistic person or autistic child's parents, they find that their right has been infringed or violated, so directly they can just file this writ petition to the Supreme Court.
Right.
Okay? This is one of the protections given. Yeah.
Right. So Varsha, I'd like to stay on this slide for some time because this is a major area of concern for parents and guardians who look after a child under spectrum or any other disability for that matter. So like it says that every person has a right to life and liberty. We all understand it. And I think what we need to do is respect this right for others also. Right to education. Now here is where schools are, after 2016, the amendment that happened, and after 2016, now autism and autistic kids, they have an access to school, and the schools have an advisory to be inclusive. But not seen to be practiced very, I would say, healthily. It is not really seen to be practiced willingly. The intention seem to be missing. The rules and guidelines are well in place, but the intention and the execution needs improvement. That is one observation and one concern from parents that we have heard while we were interacting last couple of months of the Spectrum Autism team working towards this particular cause. So what can be done in case if a parent applies in a school and the child is not accepted when they have not clearly mentioned that it is because of the spectrum the child is in? But the parents have a feeling that the child has been rejected of the spot in the school because of the disability or the disorder.
Yeah. Here we need to see what guidelines those government they have formulated. And within those guidelines, if a child falls, like severity of the case, on case-to-case basis, and if still there is a violation, if the school it's not accepting the application of an autistic child, so in that case, like the parent, they can approach a lawyer or directly, or they have the authorities, statutory authorities in every city. Okay, so they can just approach over there, filing an application, or lastly, they can just go to the Supreme Court by filing a writ petition.
Right. I'll move on to the next point, the Article 23, which says prohibition of forced labor. Child labor, any which ways, is not illegal anywhere across the country.
Yeah.
Prohibited. But in case if somebody who is an adult, who's a young adult in autism or another learning disability, if somebody, like now this is where community has a role to play. If you spot somebody who is in the spectrum or somebody who's having some sort of a difficulty being forced into labor, so can as a citizen, as an aware citizen, can I also make a complaint?
Sure. Under public interest litigation, you can file litigation in any court, like High Court or District Court, and if you want directly, you can go to the Supreme Court as well, filing a public interest litigation.
Right. Yes. Now, the Article 32, what I understand, let's say, if I have a child who's in spectrum, or if I know somebody who's in spectrum and is going through some sort of unfair practice, either or behavior done with the person. So can I, because I would have to file, the guardian or the parent will have to file a case in case if they have experienced something being done to the child. So they should be in a position to understand what can be done to support the child, right? Because the child or the young adult would not be in a position to
understand.
Right,
Okay.
right.
The guardian or any other, as a citizen, I also can, if I find that their rights has been violated, or if I feel like I should help them, support them, so I also can, as an supporting person, can just stand for them as a supportive person, and I can file a writ petition or public interest litigation. Okay.
Yeah.
Can we move ahead?
Yes, please.
Okay. Now, coming towards the rights and facilities of the autistic person. Okay. So the Rights of Persons with Disabilities Act 2016 considers autism as one of the 21 recognized disabilities. So autism comes under this recognized disabilities. Okay. It gives certain rights and facilities to the autistic people so that they could live their lives in a better way, as well as they are not deprived because of their disorder. Under the Act, 4% of the people with disabilities can be given employment in government establishment, and the person who has the disability benchmark of 40% is entitled to certain more benefits.
Right. So if I understand this correctly, the government, the Constitution of India gives me the right, even if I am in the spectrum or under any of those 21 recognized disabilities, I would be entitled for the 4% what you mentioned as the reserved quota for employment in government establishments.
That's true.
And my disability benchmark should be 40% as entitled for the benefits that I am supposed to avail. Now, two questions.
It's that way.
Right. So there are two questions that come to my mind. One, how would I know if I am the one who's in spectrum, or if I'm taking care of a child or a young adult who's in spectrum, that how much is the disability? So when you mention benchmark, I'm sure there are some ways to go back and check.
Yeah, we are coming on that. There are certain tools, and National Trust, they have some trust, and in Clean International Trust as well. So government, they have formulated some rules and guidelines. So one has to go through that, one has to take the certificate, and once they take the certificate, they can avail this facilities, whatever government has given for them.
So the certificate that you're referring to is the disability certificate that one needs to apply for?
Yeah. We are coming on that.
Sure.
Okay. Let's move further. Now, there are separate laws for autistic people. Okay. There is a special institution for the people with autism, which was created by national law. Under the National Trust of the Welfare of Persons with Autism, Cerebral Palsy, Mental Retardation, and Multiple Disabilities Act 44 of 1999. They can refer this. Okay. The National Trust is a statutory body of the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment. Okay. So this National Trust, they have so many authorities, and they can just guide any autistic like child or parent of the child can approach them. There are many schemes under this National Trust, and there are so many facilities they have given. So, but they need to go through or whatever guidelines are there, they need to follow that. Application, enrollment, whatever are there, then documents, attachment of documents and all. So if one needs to take those advantage and benefits of laws and facilities, so they need to go through the proper process.
Right. I have a question here. It's more like a concern that I would say. As a parent of an autistic child, I'm more engrossed in managing day-to-day struggle. And I don't have the bandwidth to really look forward and check if, what can be done for the child. I am busy doing therapy and all of it. So are there organizations like maybe you're working towards it? Because here somebody needs to know what rules, regulation, what acts, one needs to follow, what forms one needs to fill. So are there any support groups there who would help a parent
Yeah, definitely. Disha is one of the most renowned NGO working for this autism and disabled persons. So they
Mhm.
can approach them and they can understand what are the schemes, what are the facilities like an autistic child or an autistic adult can avail for. Okay,
Okay. Yeah.
shall we move further?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Now, health insurance. The people with autism, cerebral palsy, and other disabilities can get the health insurance of rupees 1 lakh by the Nirmaya Health Insurance Policy, which was set up by the National Trust. See, like this, so many schemes they keep on coming and going. So, if those are beneficial for the people, because government always try to be just to give all the facilities and supportive kind of approach they have. So they form the policies, they form the schemes. So if that scheme works and that's beneficial for the beneficiary, it goes on. Otherwise, that gets stopped. Okay. So now this Nirmaya health insurance policy, under the health insurance, it's come there, and there you can just get the health insurance of rupees 1 lakh. Okay. So
Mhm.
yearly, and there will be how we pay the premium and all for our health insurance. So
Mhm.
these people, they don't have to pay those. Just some registration fees, 250 rupees or 1000 rupees they have to pay, and
Mhm.
they can get the benefit of this health insurance.
Right. Now, let me understand this from the point of view of a parent who is taking care of a child who is in the spectrum. And now, my child stays home most of the times, but in circumstances where, let's say, if you're going out with the child and you, unfortunately, you meet with an accident and the child has also got the injury. So, therefore, if the child has the disability certificate,
Mhm.
only in that condition this insurance will apply, or it will apply in general also.
No, no, not in general, not in general. Okay. This, if you have the certificate with you, you can take the benefit of this health insurance.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And this would also take care of any health related challenges, not just about
Yeah, but
accidents, but
yeah,
any
but
health related challenges.
yeah. See, your medical condition, whatever you payment you do, they have the bifurcation like 70,000 for certain medical condition,
Mm.
30,000 in that, like some therapies also, but they need to show the bills and all. Okay.
Right,
So they
right.
have bifurcated in that, and whatever bills and whatever like guidelines they were having, so they need to follow that.
So would it also cover the therapy, the general therapy and counseling aspect also, or this will only be for accidental and health related
No,
concerns?
no, no, no. It will cover that. Like therapies also, but a very small part. Like this 1 lakh rupees is an yearly insurance for them. So okay,
Mm.
in that they can show like they have spent 70,000 for their medical condition,
Mm.
15,000 for some medicines and all,
Mm.
and 10,000 for therapy. Like that, they can show the bills and they can take the advantage of this health insurance
Right.
policy.
See, one more point here is autism and the people who go through or people who have any sort of disability or disorder sometimes go through mental health related issues also. And what I am aware that mental health is also covered in the insurance nowadays.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that also any treatment or any medicine which a child is taking would also be covered in this insurance, I believe.
Definitely, it will be covered. But of course, that condition is there that you should have a certificate, and whatever rules has been formulated by the this no health insurance policy, Nirmaya health insurance policy under the National Trust, they will have to go through that.
Mm, mm, mm.
Okay?
Right,
Yeah.
right. Mm.
Shall we move further?
Yes, yes.
Housing. Now, the schemes set up by the Gharonda of the National Trust provides affordable housing and minimum quality care for the people with autism. This
Mm,
says that suppose there is a scheme known as Gharonda. If we both are applying for a flat over there, and if that flat cost for a normal person like 1 crore rupee, so if the uh, like autistic person wants to apply for that and want to take the advantage of this Gharonda, under this Gharonda scheme, they will get some relief. Like instead of 1 crore, they will be getting it in 60 lakhs or something like that. So whatever the percentage no, rebate will be there, so they will get the advantage for that. But still, for this also, they need to have a certificate.
Right. So the certification is a clear mandate for the
Yeah.
moment that you realize and
Mm.
identify and get your child assessed that is
Yeah,
having one of those 21 disabilities or disorder. So instead of shying away or taking this as a tab or a tag being put on your child, to take care of the child's interest and to safeguard the interest and of the child, it is important to apply for the certification as early as possible
yeah,
without putting your biases in place,
yeah.
right?
That's the very real point, that you don't have to hesitate. You need to see all those benefits and all those facilities you are getting. And why to hesitate? Go and take the benefit now.
Hmm.
Accept and face the situation and take the utmost advantage of that. So taking, going and enrollment for the
And
certificate, applying.
this is rightfully, due for the child or the young adult
Yeah,
because the
that's
constitution
his
offers
right.
it to you.
That's his or her right.
Right,
Okay.
right, yeah. Hmm.
So schooling, early intervention and support set up by Disha centers to help the children with autism and their families. So if you feel like autism has been observed, so you can just approach this Disha centers. They are there to help you for your schooling part.
Hmm. Hmm.
Okay.
Great, yeah. Hmm.
So educational and vocational training. Now, this is also one of the schemes set up by the Gyan Prabha of the National Trust, provides people with autism monetary assistance for their graduation and post-graduation course as well as vocational course. So the Rights of People with Disabilities Act provides all children between ages of 6 to 18 free education. Okay.
Mhm,
This
mhm.
is, a point to be noted, that if you have a certificate, your child, if a child is an autistic, you can get this free education till the age group of 18 years. And there are certain schemes under that also, like vocational programming, and they get monetary assistance also if they find that good skills are there
Mhm.
in them. Okay, so
Right.
that.
So this applies to all 21 disabilities as
Yes,
mentioned,
yes.
not just autism, but all 21 disabilities which are mentioned there,
Yeah.
subject to the percentage of disability as given in the guidelines,
Yeah,
and also the certificate which tells you that the child has this disability and is scalable up to this level. Uh, it also
exactly.
here the point mentions that the child would be monetary assisted for the graduation and post graduation also, and
Mm.
any vocational course the child is having the skill or is willing to learn. So those
Yeah.
benefits
If
could
yeah,
also be
and
provided
yeah,
by.
they have to go through some, how we like in general we go for
Hmm.
scholarship tests and all. So they also have to go through that, and if they find that yes, the autistic person is a skilled one, the child is a skilled one, so they just give them that
Right. Right.
advantage. And yeah.
Hmm.
To avail these facilities, all these facilities, one must have a certificate of autism. For identification of autism cases, in clean diagnostic tools shall be used.
Hmm.
Tool for assessment of Indian children with ASD. Okay. The
Hmm.
appropriate government shall constitute autism certification under the medical board, comprising of a pediatrician, pediatric neurologist, a clinical psychologist or rehabilitation psychologist, and a psychiatrist. So
Hmm.
this way one can get the certificate. They need to apply first, they need to enroll, and after that, whatever documents they are going to ask and certificate.
Hmm.
So they will be getting the certificate. Government of India guidelines for certification of autism. For the
Hmm.
first time ever, the InClean Trust International has come in place, and the department has notified the guidelines for certification of autism for the first time on 26th of April 2016.
Hmm.
For identification of autism cases, in clean diagnostic tools shall be used. They have some tools and they just assess through that. And based on identification of autism cases, certification of autism shall be issued on the basis of Indian scale of autism assessment, like
Yeah.
what we have seen earlier, like 40%, 30%. So
Hmm.
based on this tools, they just guide them to do that. Okay.
Right. So, a thought that comes to mind when I'm looking at the information that you shared just now in previous slides also is that let's say a parent who is in a stage of identifying that the child is in spectrum. And a lot of time goes by in accepting the fact, and that is the time which is crucial for the child to get into early interventions of therapy, occupational speech, or any other kind of ABA kind of therapy, any kind of therapy which is required. So isn't it something that we need to, like, you are also counseling parents, and I'm sure you also come across parents who have kids in spectrum or some other disability or disorder, because it is now, 160, one child in 160 is going through one sort of a, in the spectrum. So the chances of the child being identified at an early stage and interventions come in place, and sooner that you apply for the certification, one, you're working towards the therapy of the child is progressing further, is making progress. So once in spectrum, you're not out of it, but you get better with therapies.
That's true.
Right? And now you have the certification of the disability, and now the Constitution of India is extensively providing you opportunities to make use of those rights which are entitled for your child in spectrum. So as a parent, it gives me a lot of hope, in the sense that if my child is identified, and if now I know that what needs to be done. So I think I would request a humble appeal to all parents here is to, instead of thinking and still considering whether the child is in or not, if the child has been diagnosed and you're certain and your therapist tells you that the child is in spectrum, mild or severe, please go ahead for the certification so the child's rights are taken care of.
So much of support system is there. Our government, all citizens, like we as a neighbor, suppose we have someone as a neighbor, we also have, like, on the humanity ground, we also support them. So no need to hesitate, and just take the full advantage and whatever benefits they are getting. So just they need to go and take the certificate and take all the advantage and give the proper right to their child. Okay, that way. So the appropriate government shall constitute autism certification and a medical board comprising of a pediatrician, pediatric neurologist, a clinical psychologist, or rehabilitation psychologist, and a psychiatrist. For further details, if anyone wants, they can just visit this website and they can get more details on that.
Right. So I would request all those watching us live, please take note of this particular link which is shared here, and we will be posting this link in the chat section, the comment section later on. In case if you have any questions, please do write them down in the comment section, and our expert Advocate Varsha would definitely answer to all your questions. So yeah, is there anything else that we need to know, Varsha?
So to remove the conception from society, they thought that disability is something different. The government was vigilant to include this disability as equal in an enactment to protect the rights of disabled and to bring them on equal footing under we all are equal human beings. Okay, let's see. The Equality Act of 2010 says that you must not be discriminated against because you have a disability. Someone thinks you have a disability. This is known as discrimination by perception. You are connected to someone with a disability. This is known as discrimination by association. It is not unlawful discrimination to treat a disabled person more favorably than a non-disabled person. So these are the protection it has been given. And suppose somebody feels that they have been offended or something like that, so they can approach the appropriate authority, and they will just get the proper justice on this.
Yeah, so this particular slide is of keen interest to a lot of my social media influencers, the bloggers community, when we talk about equality, whether it is gender equality or otherwise. Here today, we're talking about people with special abilities, and I would just call that these are special abilities people are born with. So any sort of discrimination here is it's a big no-no. And instead of showing sympathy, it is nice to know what the person is going through as a challenge in life in general, whether under spectrum or otherwise, and then support the person with a lot of empathy around the situation that the person is in. So this is beautiful.
Very true, Dr. Shivali, very true. Now, conclusion. There are movies, TV series and web series like The Good Doctor, Burfi, My Name is Khan, Apna Asman, Aapki Antara, Rain Man, The Black Balloon, Mary and Max, The Accountant, etc., etc. In The Rain Man, the main character Raymond is an autistic who could solve maths problem very easily and very efficiently. In The Good Doctor, Dr. Suhan Mafi is an excellent surgeon. So they are so much skilled. Okay, we just need to identify that and we need to support them.
Right.
So, okay, so these are all the examples. These movies often portray people with autism as highly intelligent and how they deal with the issues and stigma of autism in the society. Every year on 2nd of April, it's observed as World Autism Awareness Day, which according to the UN recognizes the rights of the people with autism. So this, like all over the world, it's observed, and they are just trying to make everyone aware about the rights of the people of autism. Again, in conclusion, society is a dynamic in nature, which means in time society will change, and what was once rejected will be accepted in the large mass. In the current millennia, steps have been taken to include people with autism or with any disability or disorder in the society by the government, by the schools, by NGOs, and by the society in general. Inclusiveness cannot be brought either overnight or by force. It has its own pace. That's why people are beginning to accept people with disability. After all, they are human beings too.
Absolutely. I think they're more human than others.
So it's this way. And if any questions are there, I'm there to answer them.
Sure, wonderful. So I'd like to tell the viewers who are still with us that Varsha is an advocate by profession, and she's also the founder director of Bright Healing Counselling Center, where she provides counseling in various areas of expertise, essentially around relationships. And she is also there to support this cause with us. And on behalf of the entire Spectrum Autism team, I'd like to extend my heartfelt thanks to Varsha for this beautiful, this informative session that you gave to us today. So Varsha, yeah, thank you so much once again. And I would now, whenever that you get time, please reply to the questions that people have left there in the comment section.
Sure. Thank you so much, Dr. Shivali, for giving me this platform and just making me join this awareness social cause. Okay.
Right. So I also like to take a moment to tell everybody that to focus on inclusion as a team, we worked a lot on 2nd of April this year. If you could just stop share this, so maybe we can look at each other in more details. So. Yeah, thank you so much. So once again, thank you for this insightful session. And the Spectrum Autism team actually conducted a dance movement therapy session for the kids in 2 schools, which is Sona Kids and Squirrel Play School on 2nd of April, which is about inclusion, where 180 plus kids actually participated with the teachers and the support staff, which was very well accepted. And they loved, throwing a good move and shaking a leg. We also had, to support inclusion itself, we also had a musical extravaganza where neurodivergent typical, both kids, youngsters, and young adults, everybody came together to enjoy music because it's the best healer. So on behalf of the entire team, I represent you here, the entire team which is working behind the screen. So thank you so much once again, Varsha, for coming on this Talk to the Expert series for the Spectrum Autism. And thank you so much for watching us, and please keep sending your love to us. We really need to support each other more. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Yeah.